Welcome to the October 10th meeting of the City of West Covina Traffic Committee meeting. We'll go ahead and start off with introductions. I'm Brian Cervantes with the City Traffic Division.
Good afternoon, I'm Adan Sari. I'm with the City Engineering, City of West Covina.
Hi, my name is Steve Dubin. I'm a crossing guard at Merlinda Elementary School in West Covina and a resident.
Samuel Martinez, I'm a resident.
Nicole Robbins with Traffic at Transtech.
Hi, I'm Allison Richter. I'm with the West Covina Traffic Department. I'll be representing the West Covina PD today.
Jana Robbins, Traffic Department with the City of West Covina.
Perfect.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Brian.
Excellent. So at the last the previous traffic committee meeting, the items that were reviewed and unanimously approved by the traffic committee, and these items will go to be presented to City Council for final approval and installation. Those items are the traffic review of Temple Avenue and Woodgate Drive, traffic review of Valerie Court and Wednesday Drive, signage review along quote-unquote Little Francisquito Avenue, traffic calming along Merced Avenue between Lark Ellen Avenue and Azusa Avenue, and signage review along Azusa Avenue at Thelborn Street. So now we'll go ahead and move into our new items for this month, the first of which is going to be the traffic review at Morganfield Avenue and Point Cedar Drive. Perfect. So the intersection that was reviewed is Morganfield Avenue and Point Cedar Drive. A resident submitted an email request to the city for a review of the intersection in Morganfield Avenue and Point Cedar Drive. The resident expressed concern about vehicles speeding along Morganfield Avenue and asked for an all-way stop or other traffic calming measures to be installed at the intersection in Morganfield Avenue and Point Cedar Drive. Looking at the existing conditions, 3 years of collisions were looked at, and there was one in 2021. The posted speed limit along Morganfield is 30 miles per hour, while the speed limit along Point Cedar is 25 miles per hour. The average daily traffic from the West Covina Citywide Speed Survey in 2017 was 1,943 vehicles per day along Morganfield Avenue. And the speed survey, or 85th percentile speed in that same 2017 speed survey, was 35 miles per hour along Morganfield Avenue. The intersection control at this intersection is two-way stop controlled on Point Cedar Drive. As well, the streets classifications per the Caltrans road systems map is Morganfield is a major collector, while Point Cedar is a local road. Parking is allowed on both sides of the street for both Morganfield and Point Cedar, and the street widths for both streets is Morganfield is 40 feet wide, while Point Cedar is 30 feet wide, and there's single-family homes along both streets. Now, part of this request was to look at stop signs for an all-way stop. So we did review stop sign warrants and requirements, and the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, or CAM-UTCD, describes applications, warrants, and placements of stop signs. The stop sign is a regulatory device that is used when traffic is required to stop. Stop signs are used to assign the right-of-way at an intersection, while multi-way control is used where the volume of traffic on intersecting roads is approximately equal. Stop signs are not used as a speed control device. Unwarranted stop signs may not get the respect from residents, and then non-compliance at stop occurs, so placement of always stop control is only placed when a location would meet minimum criteria as dictated by an engineering judgment and based on guidelines found in the CAM-UTCD and California Vehicle Code, or CVC. The city's criteria for determining if always stop control is warranted is based on several factors as set by the CAM-UTCD. And these factors include minimum volumes on each of the street approaches, collision investigation, speed of traffic, number of pedestrians, and potential site obstructions. And in this case, the 85th percentile speed of traffic is 35 miles per hour, which is 5 miles per hour above the posted speed limit. Since parking is allowed on all corners of the intersection, some removal of side obstructions can also be made by installing red curb. So the following briefly outlines the criteria for installation of an always stop. Warrants. The placement of always stop control is warranted when the minimum volume thresholds are exceeded. Traffic control signals are justified as one. A crash problem exists as indicated by 5 or more collisions in a 12-month period, or if minimum volumes are met. Volumes entering the intersection from the major approach, or the total of both approaches, averages around 300 vehicles per hour for 8 hours of an average day. And the combined vehicle, pedestrian, bicycle volumes entering the intersection from the minor street approaches at least 200 units per hour for the same 8 hours. Or if the 85th percentile approach speed of the major street exceeds 40 miles per hour, then the volumes are 70% of what the previous values I listed were. So that was the review of the stop recommendation. And then to address the additional concerns to lower the speed limit, the posted speed limit is set by law with a citywide engineering and traffic study, which follows strict guidelines found in the California Vehicle Code and CAM UTCD. The purpose of a citywide engineering and traffic study is to establish speed limits that can be enforced by using radar by police at predetermined locations. A citywide speed survey was completed and adopted by City Council in 2017 and is on file with the city clerk as well as the West Covina Police Department. Speeds must follow what was adopted by the engineering speed survey. So now for the recommendations. Based on engineering judgment, the City of West Covina traffic request guidelines found in the CAM UTCD and CVC. This location does not meet the requirements to install an all-way stop at the intersection of Morganfield Avenue and Point Cedar Drive at this time. However, this intersection would benefit from the installation of our traffic calming devices along Morganfield Avenue and Point Cedar Drive. This intersection will also be forwarded to the police department for spot speed enforcement. And since the posted speed limit is 35 miles per hour in a residential area, this location will additionally be moved to level 2 review, and new daily count with speed will be collected. Once data has been collected, this item will be brought back to the Traffic Commission as a discussion item for further review to see if any level 2 recommended measures are warranted. The level 1 recommendations include installation of 20 feet of red curb along each corner of Morganfield Avenue at Point Cedar Drive, installation of 30, the number 30, not 30 in number, pavement legends adjacent to the 30-mile-per-hour speed limit sign, so that way drivers can see the speed limit without kind of looking to the side, so it'll be on the road in front of them. And that will be for northbound traffic as well as southbound traffic. And lastly, we'll request from West Covina PD spot enforcement and placement of the speed trailer on Morganfield Avenue near Point Cedar Drive.
We do not have any residents on this item. Is there any discussion, Ahmad? At this time, it will be, we're recommending the 20 feet of red curb to improve line of sight, and then the 30 pavement legends on Morganfield. And then a new ADT and speed count will be conducted on Morganfield to see what the 85th percentile is. And if it's above what it should be for this area, then we'll look at it, additional measures, see if anything is warranted. Do we have agreement on this one, Ahmad, Allison?
Yep.
Move forward, okay. We'll
Thumbs
move
up.
forward. Okay.
Excellent. Then we'll go ahead and move on to our second item, which is traffic calming along Willow Avenue between Merced Avenue and Garvey Avenue. So the city received a resident request via citizen request form asking for the evaluation of existing conditions along the segment of Willow Avenue between Merced Avenue and West Garvey Avenue South. The resident stated that the vehicles frequently speed along this segment of Willow Avenue and expressed concern for pedestrians and children in the neighborhood. The resident requested traffic calming measures and increased police enforcement along Willow Avenue. So as part of the existing conditions review, 3 years of collision history were looked at and found one mid-block collision. The posted speed limit along Willow is 25 miles per hour, which is a prima facie speed. The street is a major collector per the Caltrans road system classification map, and both sides of the street have single-family residential homes. The street is 40 feet wide with 1 lane in each direction, and parking is allowed on both sides of the street. So for this one, we looked at traffic calming, and traffic calming is the process of reducing vehicle speeds using both passive devices such as signs and striping and physical devices such as change in road elevation or path. As part of this study, the traffic speeds, collisions, and volumes were used to assess the existing conditions along the segment, and the type, design, and placement of traffic calming devices depends on the road classification, desired traffic speed, and types of traffic issues along Willow Avenue. There are various traffic calming measures that can reduce the flow and speed of traffic on a street. And so now I'll go ahead into the recommendations. So based on the engineering judgment, the City of West Covina traffic request guidelines and guidelines found in the CAM UTCD and CVC, it was determined that Willow Avenue between Merced Avenue and West Garvey Avenue South would benefit from the installation of speed limit signage along the segment. This location will also be referred to West Covina Police Department for spot speed enforcement for speeding on Willow Avenue.
We not have a resident on this one. Do we have a discussion? Ahmad?
No. Move for approval?
Yeah,
Okay.
looks good.
Agree? Okay, so this was installation of speed limit signs on each end. Okay?
Brian sounds very convincing. Good job, Brian.
He talks fast. It's like,
See how you do on this one.
Excellent. So we'll go ahead and hop on to our third item, which is Hillside Drive between South Citrus Street and East Hills Drive. So the city received a resident request via a citizen request form to evaluate the existing conditions along the segment of East Hills or Hillside Drive between South East Hills Drive and South Citrus Street. The resident stated that vehicles tend to speed through the segment and fail to make complete stops at the intersections. The resident expressed concerns for vehicles and pedestrians traveling through the area and requested traffic calming measures to be installed along the segment on Hillside Drive. So for this review, 2.75 years of collisions were looked at and found that there was a total of 1 mid-block collision. The posted speed limit along Hillside Drive is 35 miles per hour. And from the 2017 Engineering and Traffic Survey, it was found that along Citrus to Sunrise, there was 1,877 vehicles per day. And Sunrise Road to Holiday Drive was 1,325 vehicles per day. And from that same speed survey, it was found that the 85th percentile speed was 37 miles per hour. The Hillside Drive is classified as a local road per the California Road System Functional Classifications Map, and there's single-family residential houses on either side of the road. The street is 40 feet wide with 1 lane in each direction, and parking is allowed on both sides of the roadway. So this one was also reviewed for the same traffic calming strategies we discussed in the last one, so I'm going to hop on over to the recommendations. So staff records indicate that a study was conducted in 2021 for the segment of Hillside Drive from Grand Avenue to Castle Rock Court. This study recommended the implementation of appropriate traffic calming measures, which included new signage, pavement legends, speed feedback signs. Based on engineering judgment, the City of West Covina traffic request guidelines and guidelines found in the CAM UTCD and CVC, as well as taking into consideration the previous improvements implemented at this location, it was determined that the segment of Hillside Drive between South Citrus Street and South East Hills Drives qualifies for the following. First will be to trim the overgrown bushes that are blocking view of the stop ahead sign located on Hillside Drive west of Citrus Street for westbound traffic, which is approximately 260 feet east of the intersection. This measure will improve visibility of the stop ahead sign as the current sign is covered by vegetation. And as well, this area will be forwarded to the police department for added speed enforcement and for speeding along Hillside Drive and for drivers not respecting the all-way stop signs at the intersection.
we do not have a resident present at this one. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I got a couple of questions.
Yes.
Brian, on your map, you're saying there is vehicle speed feedback, the digital ones, are those existing?
Yeah, those
At
have
the
been
moment?
installed.
Or they have been installed?
Mhm.
The-
Yeah,
It's
this-
from the 2021 study.
I see,
Correct, yeah.
the solar ones.
Yes. Yeah.
I put it back on the screen. If you look where it says Sunrise Road, there's
Yeah.
the speed feedback signs kind of
Yeah,
way
so we
along that
checked,
hill.
so everything that was recommended in 2021 has been installed in this segment.
Okay, and then, that's a park I'm seeing there, right?
No, that's just a hillside.
Or just a hillside,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty steep slope over there.
Mhm.
Okay, and then, is there like an opportunity to have, lights around the stop sign?
Well, here's the deal.
Especially at the
There
nighttime?
isn't
and-
one stop sign. They have a stop sign every other street.
Mhm.
So this is just part of the segment. So right now, in 2021, this is just a residential area. We put the red posts on all of the stop signs for added visibility. So the problem is, if you do one like that,
Gotta do all.
you would have to do all of them, because, and then we have certain guidelines for placement of the LED lights, and it's pretty much based on the number of collisions that happen, because West Covina is a big city, so we get a lot of requests for flashing stop signs. So how do you can't put it at one and not at another one. If someone gets hurt, then there's liability that what priority or what judgment did you use to pick this one and not this one? So we do have a lot that we're starting to install, but unfortunately, all of those had a lot of collisions. I mean, they were like 10 or above, so that's how they met the flashing stop signs. And I think we installed a few more this recent round, and we may have some coming up that are going to council soon because, you know, they found some more funding. So we're gonna be installing some more measures because, you know, all of these cost money. So the city has to find funding to put them in. So some are waiting, they went through the process, but now they're waiting for funding. And then we start, you know, we get another batch that we can start getting the installation done.
How much are those flashing at each location, not the entire intersection, but maybe one stop sign?
It's about 10,000 per
Yeah.
sign.
10 grand for,
Yes.
I mean, including the solar and
Mhm.
Right,
everything?
because you have to
And
have the
installation.
pole, the sign, the solar, all of that, you know. So they're about 10. So if you have a four-way intersection, that's 40,000 for each of those. So, I mean, I like them,
Yeah,
but then if we did the whole city, I mean, and also we have some we got an ATP grant, and we have, I think, one location that was recommended for flashing stop sign, but they have other, you know, like the mid-block crossings and stuff will have flashing.
Jana,
Mhm.
ideally speaking, if money and budget was absolutely no issue, is it advisable that every stop sign would get the flashing LEDs, or is it over-engineering in some locations?
Well, that's it, because once they found studies, behavioral studies, that if you put too much out there, people just start losing the respect for it. So it's not, they don't see it all the time. And you probably see that a lot at, if head signs flash all the time, then people just kind of ignore it, and then all of a sudden they see a pedestrian there because there's not pedestrians there all the time. So that's kind of, you have to balance it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it would be nice on these bigger ones that do have all this, that the city has the money to put them in. It's just some of those ones that are always on the side streets, it's really,
Yeah, I just thought about it
Mhm.
because, you know, this is, I mean, obviously you don't want it to, you know, appear on Azusa or, you know,
Well,
the areas that are flat and very visible and, you know, everything else. But in the hillside, you know, with overgrown vegetation and stuff. Okay, I'm convinced. Thank you.
That leads you to a question, Jenna. I haven't been here since the last meeting in May, but I was just wondering if West Covina, you were talking about West Covina getting some kind of a grant in July. Was it
Mhm.
granted yet, or?
yes, they received it.
They
So they're
did
just
receive
waiting,
it.
yes, it's we can talk about it as soon as this is over, we'll discuss that.
Okay, that's
So
all I wanted to
it's a
know
good
for now.
thing, because we
Yeah.
got a lot of money, so.
Great, okay.
Okay, so this one, we agree that it forward to council. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Okay,
Let's hop on to the fourth item, which is going to be the traffic calming along 2800 and 2900 of East Virginia Avenue. So the city received a request via a citizen request form to evaluate the existing conditions along the segment of East Virginia Avenue to the west of South Bronca Avenue. This segment is not a through street with a length of roughly 1,070 feet to the west. The resident reported that there is traffic along the segment and vehicles tend to speed through this part of Virginia Avenue. The resident is requesting the installation of 25-mile-per-hour speed limit signs to prevent speeding along the segment on Virginia Avenue. So for this review, 2.75 years of collisions were looked at and found a total of one mid-block collision. There is a 25-mile speed limit, which is prima facie, so it's not posted. This is a local road per the Caltrans California Road Systems map, and adjacent to the street is multifamily residential. The street is 40 feet wide, and the on-street parking conditions are heavy street parking on both sides, except when scheduled street sweeping. So as well as the other two, this was looked at for traffic calming strategies that could be used. So hopping down to the recommendations, based on engineering judgment, the City of West Covina traffic request guidelines and guidelines found in the CIMU, TCD, and CVC, it has been concluded at this time that the segment of East Virginia Avenue will be forwarded to the West Covina Police Department to conduct spot enforcement for speeding along Virginia Avenue west of Bronca Street.
And we do have a resident on this item, so would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you very much. Well, I guess it's gonna be approved, the signs, did I understand that correctly?
So the recommendation is just for spot speed enforcement from PD.
Oh, not the 25 mile per hour signs?
No, not that I see on here.
Okay.
This was our issue. It's a cul-de-sac, and I know that they're speeding there.
Yes.
So it's such heavy parking. Even if we put the sign, do you think that they're going to obey the signs? Because they may be blocked by the parked cars.
Yeah.
And police know that it's 25, so they can give the tickets when they're speeding.
Well, the answer to your question is no. I obviously don't think that, it's gonna stop them, but what else can be done?
I know.
I don't see anything else that can be done. Brian was right, there's a lot, very heavy, so really, he mentioned that the street is about 40 feet wide.
Mhm.
It's not, because,
Cars parked.
because you got tons of cars, and the issue, I'm not concerned about this issue. Either they got a big parking lot, the big apartment buildings got the big,
Mhm.
but, I would do the same thing they do. I'd rather park on the street if my apartment is right here,
Oh.
rather than go all the way to the back and go around like that. But there's a lot of parking there, and occasionally, pretty occasionally have somebody that's double parked, whether taking their groceries or whatever. But, yeah, that was my only thought. My only thought was, what else can be done? I talked to a police chief, the previous police chief,
Mhm.
Years back, and he said the problem is, Samuel, with the first responders, they gotta get to
Oh,
quickly. Well,
yeah.
that makes sense, but I thought, well, what else can be done? And it's just, I would not say it's daily, but every now and then, here comes somebody, they're going 30, 35, and 30, 35, that's speeding.
Yeah,
At
small
that
area,
point,
yeah.
And, but, yeah, that was my only thought. I don't know if this is the proper time to also share another concern that I have, or if I have to fill out another form and go through the process.
Is it a different street, or?
And no, it's the same,
Oh,
it's the same
okay.
one. As people are going south on Barranca, okay, and then turning west or right, there, the curb is painted red, but this is even more than the speeding. Constantly, there are individuals that are parked in the red zone. And people rarely get ticketed there, even on the every other Wednesday, that's another issue.
So they're parking in the red zone?
Yes,
Do,
yes.
code enforcement is still,
Mm-hmm.
so what we can do in addition to this is inform code enforcement, because they're taking over the parking for PD, because PD is so, overwhelmed, but code enforcement is doing the parking enforcement. So we can put that on their list, and that, you said on Wednesdays they come because of the street sweeping?
No, I say that because during the street sweeping, nobody gets,
Right,
rarely
right.
is there a ticketed person. No, I was just saying that the curb is, someone is constantly parking there on the curb.
On the curve.
On the curb, which is, well, the only curb there is, the northwest,
Yes.
west corner, yeah.
Is the
I don't know
curve
that
painted red?
I'm sorry?
Is the curve, we call it the curb return, but is it painted red, or it's
Yes,
just, okay,
yes,
it is
yes.
also, okay.
Yes, it has been, in fact, it was green, it was, now they cut off a part of that green and put the red. That was good, but there's still somebody.
Still someone is there, okay.
Constantly parking there, but, thank you.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, we'll also inform the police department, so hopefully they can kind of whip through there every once in a while and check. I mean, they're not gonna sit there the whole time, but they might do some spot, see what happens, you know, and then we'll inform code enforcement that there is a parking issue with cars parking in the red. So if we can take care of that at least. Yeah, no, I sympathize because actually, you know, there's a lot of people that live there and it's heavy parking. It just,
It is.
the options are slim, you know, as traffic engineers, we're signing, striping, so it's like, will they really look at the sign if it's posted, and would they see it, or if a van parks in front of it, so, but
Yeah.
we'll see if we can, do something with the red, at least.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so do we have any other comments?
Nope,
Ahmad?
move for approval.
Move, okay, Allison? And then Brian, will you,
No, if I
let
code?
code
Yeah.
enforcement know tomorrow, or tonight, whatever?
Yeah, no.
All right. All right, so that is the end of our, but we're
Jana,
gonna.
who usually attends from police department? Which officer?
I believe it's Adam.
Mhm.
Adam
Officer Adam?
Kushner, yeah. I don't know.
Traffic
I
division,
usually-
right?
Yeah, traffic
Mhm.
division.
He's a motor officer.
Okay, so we have this one. We have a gentleman here on, not on a itemized topic, but we are familiar with Mr. Stephen Dubin. But,
guys.
yeah,
Good to
hi.
see you all again. So, anyway, back in May, I believe, it was on the screen, you were talking about painting the crosswalks and stuff, and putting some kind of signage on both sides of the street. Now, we had already discussed about putting a left turn arrow, but that was way too expensive, so. But unfortunately, since the COVID and everything like that, we have a situation with the school where people, when they cross Merced Avenue on Valinda to get in the school parking lot, there's always a backup of traffic. And it's backed up so bad that they back up into the crosswalk on both sides. People coming from Merced will stop right there in the crosswalk trying to get that coveted little space as people move up and everything, so I was wondering if there's any way we could put a sign on each of those corners, please do not block the crosswalk, because I've had to walk, you know, children, parents, et cetera, actually in between cars with my stop sign up and everything, and my hands out and frantically hoping they don't move and everything, and it does create a hazardous situation, so. But that's one of the main bones of contention I have, is please do not block the cross. In fact, it was really funny, because a couple of weeks ago, one lady was coming from Merced to turn on to Valinda, and she was stopped in the crosswalk, and there was an undercover policeman right behind her. He started honking, beep, 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 and rah, rah, rah. She wouldn't move, so he actually got out of the car and told her, lady, you're gonna have to move. You know, you can't be blocking the crosswalk like this. Well, reluctantly, she finally did. She came to me a week later, she said, did you see that guy in the car telling me to move with his lights flashing? I said, yeah, he's an undercover policeman. And I said, you know, you're not supposed to be blocking the crosswalk. So she said, oh, okay.
Yeah, legally,
Yeah, they're not
vehicle
supposed.
code, you're not allowed to block
You're not to block-
you
yeah,
know,
but
ADA ramps or a crosswalk, so.
Exactly, and
marked or
I don't know if
unmarked,
people
so.
are ignorant, or if they
Yes.
just, you know, they just don't care, or, you know, because they're in such a hurry to get to the school to get their kids, like all the other parents. Of course, it's going to create a nightmare. I was asking about an electronic speed monitor too, where, you know, if they're going over 25 in the school zone, it would flash, you know, if they're going at 30, 35 and everything. So I bought this. So I'm the electronic speed monitor right now. Now, cars will come,
Yeah,
and I'll have my stop sign behind me, and I'll, you know, do, especially when the light's about to turn. I'll be doing this. Some will slow down, some won't, and everything like that. But the funny thing is that I've never seen people flip off an electronic speed monitor. But
yeah, oh, God.
make your own inference from that, you know, so. And then one other thing, I noticed along the school, along the curb there's some like loading signs or something like that that are very, very faded. Really, really hard to read, so I guess the paint's fading on them, and it's, you can load or unload here or something. I kind of passed by it real quick, so I knew, but I noticed it was really faded out and everything, so.
Okay.
But, yeah, man, beside the crosswalk needing painting and, do not block the crosswalk, those are my main concerns for right now. I know you guys had a meeting about it in May and everything, and.
Yeah, it was approved. It's
Pardon?
just it was approved.
Oh, okay, excellent.
So, I think we're trying to get the next batch of all these to go to council,
Right.
in November. So, once they approve them, then unfortunately, there's still a process.
I understand. I know-
Then the
I know
funding
things-
issue comes
right.
in.
It's a system, things take time, and I
Yeah,
I
but it
totally
is,
get
it's
that,
in
yeah.
there, so it's,
Mm.
it's moving, but it's kind of moving slow, but
Right.
we can get it. And then, like
Okay.
you said, the funding grant, we did get an ATP, the city got,
Okay.
cycle, 5, and I think it's like $3 million. Was it, Brian, or was it the one? I can't remember. There's a couple million.
Okay, well, hey, it's.
But it's, so
It's helpful.
it's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 schools. So it'll be, I mean, we only have like even that, even though it sounds like a lot of money, but once you start,
Oh, of
it's
course,
not,
yeah,
but
hours and
yeah, there'll be
materials and
updates
labor,
to,
yeah, I get it,
to, all the crosswalks redone, a lot of, new pedestrian signage with the RRFB signs.
Right. But if there's a way you could push the do not block the
Yeah,
crosswalk,
let me-
I would put that above everything else right now. The crosswalks are still in pretty good shape and everything, it's not really a priority, but boy, when they block those crosswalk on both sides, it really makes
Yeah.
it rough on me, and I know the people are very appreciative, I get them across safely, especially with the little ones and everything like that.
Right, well, we can also, in the meantime, we can also forward it to the police department to say, hey, this is the exact issue. If your guys can at least go by and if you see, during the morning, isn't the morning drop-off, is that the heaviest?
Well, it's the afternoon as well. See, the
Yeah.
thing is, I don't know what's going on with the school. They have very, very poor traffic control and that. It's a big parking lot, I mean, but, you have more cars than you have parking, so naturally, people gotta wait while they turn into the school, and I see the line, and it gets longer and longer and longer, and then the light over Linda turns, and everybody's like 2, 3 cars, even beyond the crosswalk, in the intersection, actually. People, people, hey, can't you do something about it? I tell them, please talk to the office and tell them they need better traffic control. So maybe one of your officers can go to the school and say, hey, this is becoming a problem, it's a safety hazard. I have a new resident on the corner house where my corner is and everything, and he said that he's seen and heard a lot of accidents, especially like after I leave and at night and everything like that. It really gets bad on Linda and Merced, But during the day, yeah, I mean, there are some days that are worse than others. I've noticed that Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays are usually really bad days, especially on Thursdays, although the last 3 Thursdays, thank you, Lord, have been really, really good. But I had one Thursday where everybody was just violating the red light. They were violating me and the crosswalk and stuff, and going, I don't know. I think I wore this poor thing out, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Need the blowhorn whistle, yeah.
Yeah, boy. Whew, I'll tell you what.
Is it a certain time, when does school start, so I can write this down?
School starts,
8
let's see, I get
something,
there,
or-
it's at 7:40, 7:40 or 7:43, I think. It's just a few
Okay.
minutes before 8 o'clock.
Okay,
And
7:45.
it gets worse after that, usually between that time and about 5 minutes to 8 when I get off. The traffic
Right.
really gets heavy. I mean, they don't block the crosswalk that bad. I mean, in the afternoon is when it gets really bad, it's when they really block the crosswalk and stuff. But the traffic is a little bit lighter, so it's kind of an anomaly, You figure with heavy traffic, it would be a lot worse in the morning. But every once in a while, it gets bad enough where they have to stop, or people are trying to get into the next lane over because people are, stopped by the school and everything like that, so.
Okay, and then what time do they get out of school?
They usually get out every day at 1:15 1:40, I believe, yeah, 1:40 PM, and on Wednesdays, they get out at 12:40,
Okay.
yeah.
So
That's my
we-
schedule anyway.
Okay, so
yeah.
we can give that to PD with the exact hours, so then that makes it easier for them. So
Yeah.
even if they're on just going wherever, they can
Whatever,
come
yeah, I
by
understand.
if it's this
It's like I
time,
said
so.
before, I have noticed a little bit of an increased police presence in the
Mhm.
morning, which
Oh, good.
I'm really glad to see. I'll wave my
Yeah.
eye, I'll wave them through, whatever, you know, and give them a salute and everything, so I really appreciate that, you know.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed
taking
a
care of all
meeting
the-
in August because I got the dates, right. I didn't realize that the first fell on a Tuesday, and it's the second
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, so I was thinking, wow, now maybe it's on the 14th, so I just should have went on the website and looked at it and see
Oh.
what the dates are. I found your website, so now I got all the dates right and everything.
Okay, great.
And then last month, I was on vacation that week, so, just, yeah. so
No
it's-
problem. Okay, so we will, I
Yeah.
have it notes and we will give that to police department.
Okay.
And hopefully they can come by and, you know, do some spot things, you know.
Okay, and feel
They're
free
not-
to email me or call
Okay.
me or whatever, and just keep me up to date on what's
Yes.
going on, because you guys are phenomenal. You guys really do a good job, and
Well, we're
I
giving
know
it,
there's a lot of logistics and everything involved with what you guys do, and, you know,
well,
about
thank you.
guys.
Thank you for coming, because.
Oh, my pleasure.
You know, you're the
So-
monitor for the other people
Well,
that may be working or
It's
something.
not so much for me, it's for the kids,
Well,
man.
that's
I mean,
it,
and
yeah.
I treasure these children, and, you know, they're gonna be, who knows, the next traffic committee
Yep.
people or whatever. You know. You never know, so.
Absolutely.
All
Well, we
right, folks.
appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much. I'll
much.
see you next month.
Okay.
I like your hand sign.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I had a parent make this for me.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
then my son's friend made the handle and
Handle.
everything, so and I just hold my stop sign right behind it.
Yeah,
This
if
way I have to
anyone would
stop,
just
you know.
actually look at it, then
Yeah.
we'd be good.
All right, well, thank you, folks.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
have a
you.
good one here. Okay, be safe.
I guess you can close the meeting then.
Excellent. So just to confirm, are there any other committee member items on the agenda?
No, we're good.
Excellent. Then I'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Our next meeting will be the second Tuesday in the month of November.